Okay, welcome to the Spell of Immortality. We're still looking at Quran confirmed Trinity. I would like us to take our reading from Surah 16, verse 102. It says, I'm reading the Yusuf Ali Quran. It says, the Holy Spirit has brought the revelation from thy Lord in truth, in order to strengthen those who believe, and as a guide and a glad tidings to the Muslim. Others ones are not my business. This is my business here. It says, the Holy Spirit has brought the revelation from thy Lord. Now, where does the Lord live? The Lord lives in heaven. Now, that's to say, the Holy Spirit is a spirit that comes from what? Heaven. So, if the Holy Spirit brought the Quran from heaven, that's say, you agree with me that it lives where? In heaven. That's one point. Now, remember who told me that spirit that brought the Quran down is not the Holy Spirit. It's not the one that lives in heaven. It's in Jamaica. Look at this caption here. It says the Holy Spirit, Gabriel. Now look at Gabriel is where? It's in brackets. That's say the Holy Spirit is not Gabriel. Now I'll prove that to you before we go forward. You can see how confused my brothers are. It says only inspiration. Look. They will tell us that we have King James, King Michael, King all. But they are more confused than we do. Look, it says only inspiration. If this is an inspiration, that's to say, it's not a literal coming down. It was one that was inspired. Just like the Bible says, it said the scriptures were inspired by the Holy Spirit. The same thing is being talked about here. You see now, Muslims are trying to paraphrase and saying Gabriel came literally. No, they said it was an holy inspiration. They said holy inspiration has brought it down. You see that now? You see this now? So this is a full pointing that what they're talking about there is not what we think. Now let me show you something from the other side of the Quran. I want to show you something. Let's look at them. Okay, let me show you something. In Quran 5 verse 110. All right, look at this. Look at this. Imagine when Allah would say, Jesus, son of Mary, recall my favor upon you and your mother, and when I strengthen you with the spirit of holiness. Now, please, let's know something there. When I strengthen you with the spirit of holiness. Who is the spirit of holiness? I told us from the other chapter that the spirit of holiness came from heaven. And that spirit belongs to which person? People used to say it's in Gabriel. It's not in Gabriel. Now look at this. When I strengthen you with a spirit of holiness, it didn't say with Angel Gabriel. And please, was Angel Gabriel following Jesus Christ around when he was alive? We all know, you know, that a spirit cannot stay in this planet for more than 3 hours. Now, unless you'll be entrapped in it. So, if God said, I strengthen you with the Holy Spirit, that means it was never Angel Gabriel. It was a spirit. The Holy Spirit, which is the Spirit of God. Now, that means he was living with Jesus because he was strengthened by the Holy Spirit so that he could talk to men in the cradle and also when you became of what? Of age. Now, let's look at it. Let's check this last verse. This verse will really blow our mind. Look at this. See this. Let's check it. This is Surah 20. This is Surah 15. Verse 29. Let's go verse 28. The Bible says, I will create a human being from fermented clay, dry tingle hard. Then that's what happened 29. And when I have fashioned him and breathed into him of my spirit, bow before him. Now when I have fashioned him and breathed into him of my, someone underline it, of my spirit, of my spirit, of my spirits. Listen, bro. My spirit, not in Jamaica, my spirit. When I have fashioned him of my what? My spirit. Now look at this. The spirit talking about there is the spirit of God. Now, where is God? If God loses the spirit, he should die. But God was still in heaven. He was every person talking. I have fashioned him of my spirit. Now look at this. Imagine. Now, let me show you one last thing. You see, there is no Trinity. Let's go. Let's look at the last part. I want to show you something. Oh, I love this one. Now, people will say, Jesus Christ, there's an argument that Jesus Christ never died. No. But I want to bring out something. In the book of Surah 4, verse 158. Look. But God raised him up in position and closer, please. I want us to understand this very well, because people will say the Bible is not correct. But the Bible confirms every reality and they are clear. The Quran is a summary of reality. It has no reality in himself. Now watch here. Look here. But God raised him up in position and closer to himself. Closer. Where is closer? Why can't God say God take him to heaven? Why closer to himself? That means if God was sitting here, Jesus Christ was sitting at his right hand side. They don't say God took him to heaven. They say he brought him closer to himself. The same thing was confirmed in the book of Ephesians 2 verse 6. The Bible says, for God raised us up together with him and make him sit together in heavenly places. Sit together. You can see now, this is a clear proof that Jesus is God. Because why would God take him closer to himself? No man has seen God. If Jesus really is a man, he should not be kept closer to God. God bless you.